Hey, what's going on? Hey, what I want to talk about today are similes and metaphors. So, poetry has a lot of these. Poets will use this often. Similes will compare two unlike things using like or as. Metaphors will compare two unlike things not using like or as. So they're basically the same thing, but I think it's easiest if we take a look at some of these. And I think after today's lesson, you'll think, oh, that's so easy. And it is. It's not that bad. But the real trick comes when you're reading a poem and the poet is using a metaphor, and sometimes a metaphor throughout the poem. So let's take a look at some similes. I don't think we'll ever give you a whole lot of trouble because of those words like or as. So pretty much here you can compare. I mean, they don't have the thing that's being compared, but I don't know what her hair was like two sparrows in a hurricane. I don't even know what that means. Two sparrows in a hurricane. I know that sparrows are birds, hurricane, lots of wind. Maybe they can't fly very well, so they're all over the place. So maybe her hair is like two sparrows in a hurricane. I don't know, but as cold as ice, that's pretty easy. Sometimes this classroom is as cold as ice. You might see me wearing a jacket, comparing this room to ice. Both are cold. And so maybe you're not in this room, but you have held ice. So it just helps the reader or the listener understand things better. So, and with poetry, the poet also wants you to feel something. It could be something emotional, but they want you to feel it. So this room is as cold as ice. Now, these are very simple examples. Most of the examples today will be simple, but it will get a little bit more difficult as we go along. So the next one, like a rolling stone, we could say, if someone never, okay, if somebody is always moving around, they never want to stay in one place, you could call that person, they're like a rolling stone. Okay. Whose fleece was white as snow. You may remember that from, who was that? It's not Snow White. His fleece was white as snow. Is it Baba Black Sheep? I can't remember whose fleece was white as snow. But I think it's somebody had lambs. There was Mary had a little lamb. Yeah. And the fleece, the wool, the outside of the lamb, the fur. We don't call it fur though. We call it fleece. It was white as snow. So you can get an idea. Oh, I've never seen that sheep, but I've seen snow and it's white usually. Right now, late spring, it looks more dirty than white, but like a bird up in the sky, like a bird in a cage. Okay. So maybe there's a prisoner, but they sing really well. You could call them like a bird in a cage. It's not usually how it's used, but let's get into a little bit of simile versus metaphor. So I said at the beginning, similes right here, that's a comparison of two unlike things using like or as. My pillow was like a cloud when I laid my head down. Oh, don't you love the other side of the pillow in the middle of the night when you turn the other side of the pillow over? You're like, oh, it's nice and cool. I like that. But metaphor, definitely it's more difficult. It doesn't use like or as. So the paintbrush was a magic wand in his hand. Okay, I get it. This person, this guy could paint really well. He could put magic up on the canvas, right? I get it. Okay, I get it. But there will be some poems where the metaphor is the toughest thing of the poem, I promise. Because the poet never comes out and tells you, oh, this isn't really happening. And that's why some people will love poems, is because they can be read more than one way. I could read a poem, think of it one way. You could read a poem, think of it in a different way. And oftentimes it's because of the metaphor. Songs will do this all the time. We'll take a look at some songs that use metaphor as well. But let's take a look at some metaphors. It's the same idea here with similes. These just don't use like or as. Okay. The hospital was a freezer. It was cold. Okay, we get that. Life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you have good days. Sometimes you have bad days. You are an angel. There's no like or as there. Is angel spelled wrong? That might be an exclamation point. Angels are associated with bringing good into the world. So you're an angel. Maybe you've had a really bad day, and then a friend does something really nice for you. Oh, you're an angel. No, they're not really an angel. You're comparing them to an angel. That's what metaphors do. You could change into a simile. Oh, you're like an angel. Whoop, simile. That's the only difference. One uses like or as, one doesn't. But trust me, once we get to the poems, those metaphors are tricky because you can't tell two things are being compared. You might think, oh, it is. But this is just an introductory lesson. Last one. The clouds are balls of cotton. Oh, cotton, soft, fluffy. So are clouds. You get it? You at least get the idea of what a metaphor is. But maybe there's a poem that's talking about these walls that have been built up. And you might think, oh, a person is in a house or a structure. But no, they're emotional walls. But they never tell you that. There aren't real walls, it's just emotions. Something like that. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to refresh your memory on what metaphors and similes are. Are we cool? Does that make sense? All right.